Hello and welcome back to another Football Commentaries live stream. It is the third round of the FA Cup this weekend as we head into the new year, and it has produced a first ever competitive Yorkshire derby between tonight's hosts Leeds United and the visitors Harrogate Town. Leeds of the Championship currently sit top of the table, just 1 point clear of second place Burnley, but did drop 2 points in their last league game away at Hull, drawing 3-3 late on after leading 3-1 during the second half. Harrogate Town have now been an EFL club for the last 5 seasons and are looking to reach new heights, as the club have never reached the fourth round of the FA Cup, losing in the third round in 2022 against Luton. Despite losing 3 FA Cup finals, Leeds did win one back in 1972, beating Arsenal 1-0 thanks to an Alan Clark goal in the 53rd minute. And despite never meeting competitively, these two did face each other in a pre-season friendly back in July of last year, where Leeds won 3-0 at Harrogate. But can the FA Cup magic spark back into life as Harrogate look to try and get some revenge from that pre-season defeat? So, in the first Yorkshire derby between tonight's two teams, will it be Leeds to make it to the fourth round for the third season in a row, or can Harrogate make history and make it to their first ever FA Cup fourth round tie? Like I say, for Harrogate, this is just the second time they've ever reached the third round. Like I say, beaten in 2022 against Luton. And then for Leeds as well, winning it once back in 1972, but have reached 3 other finals as well. They lost to Liverpool in 1965, lost to Chelsea in 1970, and then also lost to Sunderland in 1973. So, bit of a mixed bag for Leeds in terms of their FA Cup finals, but the main part of the FA Cup history for Leeds is the fact that they've not got far in recent times. You know, all those finals were back in the 60s and the 70s. So it'll be a competition they'll want to be successful in. How successful they can be, we'll have to wait and see. You know, FA Cup is the only competition, it seems, in the world where you can get real upsets. And if Leeds were to, go far in this competition, then, they could cause a few upsets of their own. But tonight they've got to avoid an upset. They've got to do their job right and comfortably beat Harrogate, who are 21st in League Two at the moment. These two clubs were both founded in the same year, both founded in 1919. Like I say, they met in a pre-season friendly this summer. It was on the 19th of July 2024, 3-0 away win for Leeds. Junior Firpo, who's on the bench tonight, scored the first. Jorginho Ruta, who's now left for Brighton, also scored in the second half. And then a youngster, Sam Chambers, who isn't involved tonight, he scored as well in the in that friendly. They've met loads of times in friendlies, but this is the first time that Leeds and Harrogate are meeting each other competitively, which, should bring, a little bit of a tense fixture. I mean, I doubt the rivalry is exactly strong, with the fact they don't really play each other that often. But it is just a 1 hour round trip for Harrogate to get to Elland Road and back. It is cold conditions. It's very cold conditions. It has been for the entire week here in England, but it's one of those where the games in the stadiums that play in the Premier League and the Championship, those games have been going ahead. We've had a few, in fairness, in the lower league grounds, but this game was always going to go ahead. And like I say, for Leeds United, it's got to just be a standard win for them. Of course, their manager, Daniel Farke, a very successful manager in the Championship, winning 2 league titles with Norwich in 2019 and 2021, and it was more disappointment than success for him last season, with Leeds reaching the playoff final but losing 1-0 at Wembley to Southampton. But it's now 82 games in charge for Daniel Farke, 46 wins, just 5 losses at home in his 40 games in charge here at Elland Road, so they're pretty steady when they do play here under the German manager. And for the Harrogate Town manager, he is the longest lasting manager currently in the English top 4 divisions. He has been in charge for 15 years and 235 days. Only Pep Guardiola has still lasted longer. Pep Guardiola's second with 8 years and 194 days. So he is well on his own, Simon Weaver, in terms of being the longest lasting manager. He was a player manager from 2009 to 2011, then became just the manager on its own, no playing role for him in 2011, and he's took charge of over 800 games for Harrogate, and if they lose tonight, it will be their 300th loss under Simon Weaver, the 47-year-old manager for Harrogate Town, who played centre-back during his playing days, now at the age of 47. Had his birthday on the 20th of December last month. So it's a big ask for Harrogate, who have been on a pretty poor run of form. They were 7 without a win before last weekend when they were able to finally get back on winning terms. They went to Barrow, which isn't an easy place to go. Barrow are struggling in League 2. They're usually more towards the playoffs, but I know this season they are just slumped around in the bottom half of the table. But it's still a difficult place to go to, Barrow, and they picked up a 2-0 win. Their striker, Jack Muldoon, got the first in the 56th minute, and then his strike partner, Josh March, scored in the 61st minute. So it is very much a Harrogate team that overall are in poor form, but then at the same time as well are coming into this game off the back of a win. And they're unchanged from that Barrow side, which you can't say is much of a surprise after winning 2-0. Like I say, not the easiest places to go and win. But that's what they did, just taking them away from the relegation zone. They're 5 points clear of the relegation zone at the moment, Harrogate Town. But it's a nice distraction, this. Reached the third round after winning 2 games already. The first round, they beat Wrexham 1-0 at home, and then in the second round, they beat Gainsbury, who win the 7th tier of English football, and that's where Harrogate were in the 03-04 season. So it's only 20-odd years ago where Harrogate were in the same place as Gainsbury, but they beat them 1-0 as well at home. A Cornelius goal in the second half has led them to this third round tie against local rivals Leeds United, the first ever competitive Yorkshire derby between these two sides. And here are the two sets of starting 11s entering the field of play. Leeds United led out by their number 4, Ethan Ampadu, and for Harrogate Town, they are captained tonight by Warren Burrell, who joined back in January 2016 from Buxton. He did have a spell previously at the club from 2009 to 2011, so he is well respected at Harrogate Town. The captain, 34 years of age now, has made over 380 appearances, and there is the manager Simon Weaver applauding the travelling supporters there who have made the very short trip here to Ellen Road. And tonight's referee is James Bell, with his 2 assistants of James Mainwaring and Ian Cooper, with the 4th official of Sebastian Stockbridge. We'll go through both sets of starting 11 quickly as we kick off in just around 2 minutes' time. It's Carl Darlow in goal for Leeds United, making just his 2nd appearance of the season. His other one was in the League Cup, where they were defeated 3-0 at home to Middlesbrough. A back 4 of Sam Byram, who can play with Isaac Schmidt on the left-hand side, and then 2 centre-backs. So Ethan Ampadu, the captain, is making his 70th Leeds appearance, and alongside him is Pascal Strauch, who missed the last game against Hull, but he's back today against Harrogate. 2 older midfielders of Joshua Gilavogi, who joined this summer as a free transfer. He is making his first start for Leeds United. Alongside him is the birthday boy Joe Rothwell, who joined on loan from Bournemouth in the summer. 3 behind the striker on the right is William Nyonto, who is making his 99th Leeds United appearance. On the left is Manor Solomon, who is also on loan, and he's on loan from Spurs. He's got 3 goals so far this season. A brace away at Swansea and 1 at home in the festive period against Oxford. In behind the striker will be Laji Ramazani, who was brought in for £10 million from Almeria in Spain. He has got 3 goals as well himself so far for Leeds this season, and his last was at home against Watford in the middle of October. And leading the line up front through the middle will be number 19, Matteo Joseph, who's got 2 goals himself this season, 1 at home against Hull at the end of August, and the other one at home against Sheffield United, off the bench in the middle of October. As for Harrogate, it is an unchanged team from their last line-up against Barrow last weekend, and it is James Belshaw to remain in goal, he's now in his 3rd spell at the club. Back three of Jasper Moon, who's on loan from Burton. Alongside him will be Anthony O'Connor and captain Warren Burrell. Five along the midfield. At right wing back will be Toby Sims. At the left wing back will be James Daly, who was brought in at the start of last season from Woking. Three central midfielders of Dean Cornelius, who scored the only goal in their second round win against Gainsborough. And alongside him, his new signing in the January window, Bryn Morris, who they brought in from Newport on a 1.5-year deal, and they'll play alongside Levi Sutton as well. With two up front, it'll be Jack Muldoon, who's looking for his 80th Harrogate goal in his 317th appearance, and alongside him will be number 24, Josh March, who's got the 4 league goals so far this season. 2 in his last 3, both away from home against Fleetwood, and in that last win against Barrow. And he has started both FA Cup games so far this season, Josh March, the striker, but has also been subbed off in both as well. So they are the two starting 11s here at Ellen Road. Just having a bit of trouble getting a picture here for the game. It's just not quite loading. So I had to get it on my computer here. As you can hear it, and we are underway with Leeds kicking left to right here, Harrogate right to left. We have just literally kicked off here. We are 13 seconds in, and it's Leeds with the kickoff, and they have been able to keep the ball so far in the opening exchanges of the game. As of course it will be heavily dominated by Leeds United, as we would expect, but when Harrogate get the ball and they can try and break, they've got to be as clinical as possible. As we're on the halfway line here, and it's going to be with Pascal Strauch in the centre circle. It does look like Strauch is going to partner alongside Gilavogi at the back, possibly. I think Ethan Ampadu and Gilavogi will be kind of rotating in that holding midfield position and the centre-back position as well, both of them versatile enough to play in both positions, as we're still on the halfway line here with Ethan Ampadu for Leeds United, going to his left 5 yards to Strauch. Then on the far side, it's the left back here, and it's going to be left back Sam Byram at the moment, who's found himself on the left-hand side. It looks like Schmidt might be playing right back for Leeds tonight. It will be. It'll be Sam Byram on the left and Schmidt on the right. As it still leads with possession of the ball with Nyonso. Back to the halfway line to Ampadu. Plenty of time on the ball here. They're not pressing aggressively here, Harrogate, when the centre-backs are on the ball for Leeds, but of course when they get it into the midfield areas, that's where they'll have to put the pressure on, as it's still in the Harrogate half here, midway inside the half, on the near side here with Schmidt, who's driving inside, plays a ball into the path of Ampadu, tries to slip it through in the box for Nyonso, dealt with by Harrogate, lifted out to the right-hand side there by Muldoon, looking for Cornelius, who collides with Strauch, and it's a foul in the favour of Harrogate, and they'll have a free kick there. Sliding in, Pascal Strauch, who, as I mentioned before, was out for the game against Hull last time out. It's a decent challenge for me. Slides in, gets the ball first for short, and then takes Cornelius down, but I think he's a little bit unfortunate there, Pascal Strauch, who's making appearance number 147 for Leeds United tonight. He joined from Ajax in January 2018. All of his goals in the league this season for Strauch have come at home, his last on New Year's Day when they drew 1-1 late on against Blackburn Rovers. But it looks like as Strauch went in for that challenge, Cornelius fell on him, and it looks like he might have done some damage to the inside of his mouth, maybe his jaw. But he's looking like he's struggling with the mouth area, Pascal Strauch. As it's just the 3 survivors here for Leeds United tonight in terms of their starting 11 from last week against Hull. Ampadu, Rothwell and Solomon remain in. The rest are on the bench. Melier, Bogle, Rodon, Verba, Tanaka, James, Aronson and Piru as well, who's out of the matchday squad completely. As that Harrogate free kick from the halfway line is sent in towards the Leeds 18-yard box, headed on there by Moon. Drops here for Harrogate, can't quite make anything happen there. Levi Sutton cleared by Gilavogi. As it's a Leeds United ball. So we've got it back on the big screen here, so a bit of a better view. We'll keep an eye on the Manchester City game as well. as they play Salford at home. But on the Leeds game here, it's Solomon who's just drifted to the right-hand side, finds Schmidt, and then back into Gilavogi. Like I say, it looks like he's playing as a part of the two centre-backs. The 34-year-old brought in by Farke for a bit of experience. French international, formerly, played 7 times for France. Gilavogi, the last time he played for them was in March 2015. As it's Nyonto. He's got Schmidt with a load of space on the right-hand side, and he finds him in the final third here. What can the Leeds number 33 do? Plays it back here to Gilavogi. It's now the birthday boy Rothwell. Into Gilavogi again. He's going to be patient from Leeds because Harrogate are going to sit deep and be as compact as possible. As in the centre circle, it's their number 5 Strauch on the ball, who seems to have got over that slight mouth problem that he was dealing with just moments ago. Here's Schmidt, the right back, playing it inside to Nyonto, then back out wide here as the cross goes in, and it's dealt with momentarily for Harrogate, but back it goes here to Ramazani. Schmidt on the edge of the box, bit of footwork, can't quite get away from the Harrogate defence, but the clearance always goes as far as Ampadu. It's now Byram in the box on the left-hand side. Weaker left-footed cross goes in, it's a header away, but only as far as Rothwell, who battles on the edge of the box, but Harrogate can bring it away, but only as far as Solomon, who is quick on the scene to win the ball back. It's now with Byram again. Into Ampadu, back out wide here to Manor Solomon, the man on loan from Spurs. Onto his right foot in the corner of the box on the left-hand side. Finds the number 17, Ramazani, and the shot from range from the number 17 goes straight down the throat of James Belshaw. And it will be Harrogate 5.5 minutes in to keep the scoreline here currently at 0-0. First shot of the game there. Largi Ramazani with the spin and the shot from around 25 yards out. Never was going to cause an issue there for James Belshaw, the goalkeeper, who spent 4 years of his career in the United States at Durham and Chicago. He's got 2 promotions with Harrogate in his 3 spells here at the club. The 34-year-old has a ball over the top here by Cornelius. Sends away the number 24 of Josh March, who can lift it towards goal, but it's got no pace on it, and it's easily caught there by the number 26, Carl Darlow for Leeds, who's in the starting 11 tonight. The Welshman changed his allegiances rather not too long ago. Carl Darlow was English, but then switched to a Welsh nationality through his grandfather, Ken Leake, who also played football. So he's been used since switching his allegiance by the new Wales manager, Craig Bellamy. And Ilan Meslier, the Leeds number 1, has been under a bit of scrutiny this season for a lot of key mistakes he's made in Leeds games. He made a huge one in the game against Hull, which allowed the Tigers to take a point off Leeds that day. And you might remember the more famous one this season when he somehow let a spinning ball under his grasp away at Sunderland, which also meant that Leeds drew a game instead of winning it. But I think Carl Darlow was always going to play this game, I think, for Leeds, as he is usually chosen as the cup goalkeeper. As Harrogate threw a ball down the left-hand side here, headed away by Ampadu, helped on by Nyonto, chested down by Matteo Joseph, who links up here with Ampadu. And he sends it out to the left wing here to Ramazani. Like I said, big money signing there from Almeria. The Belgian, usually a winger, but looks like he might play the number 10 role. He slows it down. Everyone back behind the ball for Harrogate as it's towards this right-hand side now with Ampadu. Into Nyonto, 1-2 with Ampadu, midway side the Harrogate half here. He's just going to go to his left here to Strauch. The space is out wide. And he works it here to Ramazani. Then Joseph, who's just dropped slightly deeper from the striker position to link up with Strauch. It's now with the left back Byram. Into Ramazani. Across it goes here to Gilavogi, who's in a more central area. Plays it to his right to Nyonto. And it's now the right back Schmidt. Playing it into the box here towards Solomon, and he finds him towards the byline. He works across into the box, and it's well caught again by Belshaw. And Harrogate survived the first 8 minutes of this game here in Ellen Road. Not a bad ball into the box there, though, by the right back Isaac Schmidt, the man they brought in this summer from St. Gallen for £2.5 million. It's his first club outside of Switzerland for the Swiss fullback. There's a long goal kick by Belshaw out of his hands. Is picked up here by Ampadu, plays it into the space and in behind here for Nyonto, who will beat Burrell to the ball. He's going to go for the first time, cross into the box, and it's gone past Matteo Joseph. And it's going to be dealt with here by Sims on the right wing-back position, who can clear it down the right channel here. It'll be given chase to here for Harrogate, but Well dealt with by the header of Gilavogi. Leeds can once again run at the Harrogate defence. And it is 1-0 as well to Manchester City against Salford. Jeremy Doku with the goal. It's in the centre circle here with Ampadu. To Rothwell, sorry. Now Strauch. Back towards Rothwell, on loan from Bournemouth for the season. The number 8, former England under-20 international. Edge of the box is Joseph. Plays it out wide looking for Schmidt. Dealt with here though for Harrogate, but not really cleared though by Daly. And it's now Gnonto on the edge of the box on his left foot. He's going to try and go for the shot, which is headed up into the air by Moon, and then headed away by Sims. Dealt with though by Strauch, who tackles the ball forward. And it's now with Strauch on the left-hand side. Ampadu, midway inside the Harrogate half. He's going to go to the right here to Gilavogi. Trying to find a ball into the box there for Schmidt, but the clearance goes straight back to Gilavogi, and he'll go out wide this time to Solomon. He's one-on-one with Burrell, the captain. Ampadu trying to find Joseph forward, but he's been dispossessed, and Harrogate try and go forward, but they can't quite make it stick up front there with Josh March. And Harrogate have it back once again. Leeds have it back once again. Rothwell to Gilavogi. Gnonto. Back it goes here to Rothwell. It's very much attack versus defence so far in the opening 10 minutes. And we've only had one Leeds United shot, which has made a real save for James Belshaw, the goalkeeper, who has played the other 2 FA Cup games so far this season, where obviously they've kept 2 clean sheets against Wrexham and Gainsborough. Here's Manuel Solomon on the far side. Down the line here for Byron, who's forward from full-back. Plays it back, though, here into Strauch. It's now Rothwell. Everyone behind the ball for Harrogate. Rothwell, low ball to Joseph. Lays it off here for Ampadu. Wants to go to the left wing position. He finds Solomon, who can cross the ball into the box. And it's caught again by Belshaw in the 6-yard area. Was out of his goal quickly there to collect. But for Harrogate Town, away from home, they have won 3 of their 13 away games in the league, winning at Colchester in August, then Gillingham in November, and then, of course, it's Barrow in their last game. They have lost 3 of their last 6 away games in the league, Harrogate, who've got a throw in towards the final third on the near side, a long kick forward, headed off Gilavogi. And it's a Harrogate throw-in, and it'll be James Daly to throw the ball backwards here, so that Burrell can take the throw in himself. It's now with Daly, back to Burrell. Sutton, the central midfielder, keeping it away from Ampadu and going to the halfway line here to the number 15 of Anthony O'Connor, who can turn away from Joseph. It's really calmly done there by the Harrogate number 15, who sends it over the top down the left-hand side here. Gilavogi will chase it for Leeds. March is going to get there first to go around him. He's pulled down to the ground, and the referee waves it away. Josh March cannot believe he's not been given a penalty there. Just ticking over the 12th minute, ball in behind down the left-hand side. March got the header away from Gilavogi and got around him, and he looks like he's caught there. A tangle of legs in the box. Has Gilavogi got away with one? Oh, he has. That's a penalty for me. And Harrogate have got every right to be frustrated that they've not been given a penalty kick there. Down that left side, like I said, Josh March just headed it into the box and he chased it, ran around Gilavogi. And as Gilavogi's behind him, he just caught his legs, got him in a bit of a mess, and sent March to the ground as Leeds trying to tap themselves. A low ball in, last touch of O'Connor. Corner on the far side for Leeds United. Like I say, that's a huge shout for a penalty, and with no VAR or anything like that, it has to be the referee's call. He's just got in a big mess there. Joshua Gilavogi, who's played 14 games previously in his career against Bayern Munich, beating them just once in the Super Cup in the 15-16 season. He's a really high pedigree player, the former French international. as the Leeds corner is a deep one towards the far post. It's a header away though by Burrell for Harrogate, the captain. Back though into Schmidt, then out wide again. Can they get the ball back in the box here through Rothwell? He'll go for a reverse pass into Byram, onto his stronger right foot, then onto his weaker left, goes for the cross which deflects. Still alive though for Leeds. It's a ball here for Solomon. He goes back though into Ampadu. Strauch. Into Ramazani. Pass deflects in behind. Down the left-hand side here for Solomon. There's a fortunate twist to that ball. And the cross is deflected behind again for another corner for Leeds on the far side. Like I say, slice of luck with the way that ball was played through to Solomon with the deflection. But nothing came of it in the end other than a corner for the home side, who have got 10 wins from their 13 league games here at home. The biggest win of them all was 4-0 against Oxford on the 21st of December. One loss here in the league at home. It was 1-0 against Burnley back in the middle of September. As the corner goes in, had a loss there for Leeds. James Daly beating Strauch to it, but the clearance now goes back to the last defender for Leeds, and that is Isaac Schmidt, former Switzerland under-20 international. And here is Schmidt again, more in a central area, then works it out wide to the right-hand side to Gnonto. He's going to run here at Burrell, on the inside, into the box, then back outside, and the right-footed shot deflects there off James Daly, and that'll be a corner on the near side, this time for Leeds United. We're over 15 minutes in, still Leeds 0, Harrogate 0. Harrogate had a huge shout for a penalty in the 12th minute of the game. Gilavogi bringing down March, but the referee waved it away and didn't give it. As the referee stops the taking here of this corner kick. Just wants a word with March and Byram. As it's going to be Rothwell to take it. It's a right-footed outswinger again towards the far post. Headed by Burrell, the captain. Then headed on once more. Only as far as Ramazani, and it's now with Carl Darlow in the Leeds United half. Plays it back forward here to the halfway line to Ramazani, who then finds Solomon on the left wing. Running here it's Sims and Cornelius, trying to get onto his right foot. Plays it back to Ampadu, then forward to the left to Ramazani. Inside again for the space here for Solomon, then to the left-hand side. In the left wing position it's Byram, onto his right foot. Cross deflects, can't quite be controlled tightly there by Muldoon. And it's now with Leeds again in the Harrogate half with Rothwell. Everyone behind the ball for Harrogate as he tries to play in behind. It's just touched away there. Well defended for Harrogate. It's now with Cornelius, the number 8. A long ball forward up towards the striker there of March, who runs right into Gilavogi. And that'll be a free kick for Leeds United. Sorry, it was Jack Muldoon running straight into the Leeds United centre-back for tonight. As Leeds United are unbeaten in their last 8 in the Championship. Their last defeat was against Blackburn Rovers at the end of November. And in those 8 unbeaten, they have scored 17 and only conceded 6. As they lost possession in the final third here, Leeds. And it's now with Harrogate trying to play out. And they've got a throw-in. Last touch off Solomon. Well won there by the number 24 of the striker, Josh March, who's got 1 FA Cup goal from the first round onwards, and it was for Forest Green against Alvechurch in the second round back in November 2022. Signed a 1-year extension on his contract, Josh March, in May of last year to keep his stay at the club till at least the end of this season. As a throw-in by Burrell goes into the Leeds half, it's headed on, and it's a battle there where it's Muldoon who loses out to Schmidt, who holds his face in discomfort, and the referee stops the game. I don't think he's given a foul, just over 18 minutes in, still 0-0 here. In the 12th minute, we had a big penalty shout for Harrogate. Let's see here. The ball was in the air. Both players going for it. Muldoon just slightly catching the air. It looks like a Schmidt. He'll be absolutely fine. The full-back born from Switzerland. Been on the bench the last 3 games without appearing. Starts tonight. And for Leeds, in terms of the FA Cup, they reached the 5th round last season, where they were knocked out, unfortunately, by Chelsea. 3-2 away at Stamford Bridge. But before that, in the 4th round, they had a replay to get beyond Plymouth. And in the 3rd round, away from home, they beat Peterborough. You might remember that stunning Bamford goal in that game. As we're back underway, and it's Leeds on the ball, 19 minutes in. They're in their own half, about 10 yards in front of the 18-yard box with Joe Rothwell. Spent 15 years coming through at Manchester United, the number 8. Didn't make an appearance, though, professionally for the Red Devils. As it's Leeds on the near side here with Schmidt. Back it goes into Gilavogi. There's Manchester City. They've got a 2-0 lead here at the Etihad. Looks like Divine Mubama has the goal. That's Schmidt, the right back for Leeds, charging forward, cutting inside, then playing it out wide here to Matteo Joseph, who again cuts inside himself into a central area. Then out wide left it goes to Ramazani, who gets the low shot off, and it's straight at Belshaw. Easily dealt with there for the goalkeeper, who's had a pretty confident start to the game, it must be said. Everything that's gone at him, he's kept a hold of. You know, it's not exactly difficult saves he's having to make, but, you know, in a game like this and the magnitude of it for Harrogate, you can be nervous, you can, you know, parry a couple of shots, but the experienced 34-year-old goalkeeper isn't showing any signs of nerves at the moment as he takes a long kick forward, dealt with by Schmidt for Leeds at right back, into the midfield to Ampadu, then into the pocket space here for Solomon, who can try and get away from Morris, who pulls him back, didn't let go, and that'll be a yellow card for Bryn Morris, the new signing from Newport in the January window. A former England under-20 international himself. 1 goal in the FA Cup in his career for Bryn Morris, and that was last season when Newport were defeated at home to Manchester United. Scored a hat-trick this season before leaving Newport, Bryn Morris, and that was in a 6-3 home win against MK Dons in the 21st of December. And he switched Wales to come back into England and join Harrogate Town here with the manager Simon Weaver, as we're back underway once again here, and it's Ramazani running at Cornelius on the Leeds left-hand side. Not being allowed to go forward, so he has to play back to Strauch. The cross to Gilavogi, now towards the right side of the pitch to Ampadu. Solomon. Back into Ampadu. And the cross into the centre circle here to Joshua Gilavogi. 3 years spent at Atletico Madrid. Came through at Saint Etienne. And won 1 German Cup back in 2015. And he's on the ball still, the number 23 for Leeds United. Out to the right side here to Ampadu. Everyone's still behind the ball for Harrogate. As, surprisingly for Leeds, they have struggled against lower opposition. They have been beaten 4 of the last 5 times they have faced a team in the English 4th tier in the FA Cup. The last time they won was in the 3rd round against Cambridge. It was away, it was a 2-1 win. But the 4 defeats they've picked up, they were beaten 3-0 away at Crawley in the 2020-2021 season. They were beaten 2-1 away by Newport in the 3rd round when they were in League 2 in the 17-18 season. Then they were beaten in the 13-14 season in the 3rd round by Rochdale 2-0. And they were beaten in the 1st round in the 07-08 season by Hereford in a replay at home. So surprisingly, when playing teams from the 4th tier of English football in the FA Cup, Leeds have struggled at times, which I find surprising. They're dominating this game, but 22.5 minutes in, they've still yet to really test the goalkeeper. They've had a couple of shots so far, but pretty much straight at the goalkeeper, James Belshaw. As Leeds work out to the left into the final third here, it's Ramazani running at Sims into the box on the right foot. He goes for the far corner, and he can't quite get enough bend on it, and wide it goes. And it's still Leeds United 0, Harrogate 0. It's the first ever competitive meeting between the two. They did face each other in pre-season in July of last year. Leeds won 3-0. Like I said, just didn't get his foot around the ball there. Largi Ramazani, who spent the last 4 years in Spain with Almeria, relegated last season from La Liga. Sent off twice last season. The attacker, back-to-back games against Valencia and Bilbao in February of 2024. But he's going to look to try and have a promotion this season with Leeds rather than the relegation he had with Almeria last season in Spain. Harrogate have a throw-in. into the Leeds half. It's brought down here for Cornelius, can't quite play it through there for Muldoon. But then won back here by Sutton, lifting it out to the left-hand side here to March. It's a nice ball midway side of the Leeds half, not much support with him until there's a run from James Daly, slide tackle from Ampadu, and another big tackle in there from March, and it's Harrogate who have it. Morris then loses out, and Ramazani avoids the sliding challenge, and Leeds break. Option to the left, he finds Joseph on his own in the box. On his left foot, it's a big block by Burrell, the captain, and it remains 0-0. Harrogate almost caught out on the counter, but it's a huge sliding block there by Warren Burrell, the 34-year-old captain, Sheffield born, showing his worth despite his older age in the squad. And it's a Harrogate goal kick. The Harrogate fans have just been given behind the goal to the right-hand side of that stand. But there was just so many sliding challenges, and the ball eventually broke to Ramazani, who was breaking away in the Harrogate half, played it calmly to his left to Mateo Joseph, who kind of got the ball stuck under his feet a little bit. Eventually had the shot towards goal, which looked like it was going wide anyway from that replay, but Burrell was not to know. Thanks to everyone who is watching. If you could like and subscribe, that'd be absolutely fantastic. As Belshaw, the goalkeeper, sends it into the Leeds half, headed into the air by Morris, and then headed forward by Daly. Headed on again once more here by Muldoon to March, who is knocked from behind by Gilavogi. Looks like the foul has gone the way of the Harrogate striker. Yeah, James Bell, the referee, signals for the free kick there. Just a little bit strong into the back there by Joshua Gilavogi. So a chance for Harrogate to launch this ball into the box. They have had a really good opening 25.5 minutes, the League Two side, who were just 5 points off the relegation zone in the fourth tier of English football. It's going to be a delivery in from the left-hand side. It's going to be a right-footed cross from their new signing, Bryn Morris. Signed on a 1.5-year deal this January. Referee just having a couple of words with a few of the players in that 18-yard box as we still wait for the ball to be delivered in here. And the ball is put towards the far post. It's headed forward towards goal here. Bit of a lapse of communication between the Leeds United defenders, but eventually it's caught and kept by the goalkeeper, Carl Darlow. Just making his 9th FA Cup appearance, the 34-year-old. Spent 9 years at Newcastle, but within that 9 years, he had a few years out on loan. He came through at Aston Villa to begin with for 7 years. Then he spent another 9 years at Forest before his 9 years at Newcastle. He played for plenty of clubs in his career, Carl Darlow, with the loan spells. Leeds try and play through the Harrogate defence. The ball deflects off Morris out wide left towards Daly. Loses out to Nyonto. It's now Ampadu. Forward to Solomon in the number 10 role here. Goes to his left to Rothwell. And first time pass into the space for Byram in the final third. Touch into the box here. Tries to complete a 1-2 with Ramazani, but Harrogate can deal with it. Muldoon up front can't quite hold it up for the away side, and it's now with Gilavogi who's going to lift the ball out to the left-hand side. It's dealt with in the box there for Harrogate, cleared up towards Muldoon, who won't quite get there ahead of Pascal Strauch. And Leeds United can go again here. They've been beaten 3 times in the league this season, Leeds. Once at home to Burnley, but then the 2 away defeats have come against Blackburn Rovers at the end of November, and also in November at the start of it against Millwall. That's on the edge of the box. On the left-hand side, it's Byram. Back 5 yards into Ampadu, then across to the right side here to Gilavogi. 25 yards out, crosses into the penalty spot, headed away, but sent back to Gilavogi, who just thighs it to his left there to Rothwell. And then out to the right to Gilavogi. Schmidt, the right back. Everything to his left. He goes back, though, into Gilavogi. Rothwell. Going to try the left-hand side now. Leeds here with the number 4, Ethan Ampadu. Here's Solomon. Back into Ampadu again on the angle. Fancies the low ball in. Joseph tries to control it, but it just bounces off his foot and towards the Harrogate goalkeeper, who can eventually get the ball into his 2 hands. 3 wins in their last 10 league games. For Harrogate, they picked up 4 wins from their opening 15. So, you know, it's been a very much kind of like a settled run of form for Harrogate. They've not exactly had a month or so where they've really picked up results. It's kind of been a win here or there, which has meant that they are just above the relegation zone at the moment. They finished 13th last season, Harrogate Town. It was a superb end to their season in terms of finishing on 63 points. There were 7 points off the playoffs in the end, and they were 21 points clear of the relegation zone. But they are currently missing their top scorer from last season, Thompson, who was injured in the first game of the season, and they'll be looking to get him back as quickly as possible. As we're just less than half an hour in, still 0-0. No huge chances, but in the 12th minute, Harrogate had a big shout for a penalty, which wasn't given. It's now on the Leeds left with Byram. Back into Strauch, midway side the Harrogate half, and every Harrogate player is behind the ball at the moment, just showing how hard it is for this Leeds defence to... how hard it is for this Leeds attack to break through the Harrogate defence. Ampadu. To the left it goes to Strauch, on once more to Byram. On that right foot again, thought about the cross, but then decided against it. It's now Rothwell to Ampadu. 30 yards from goal, goes forward to Solomon. Then to his right to Nyonto, just outside the box at the moment. Back to goal, tripped as he released the ball. And that is a free kick for Leeds. Just clipped from behind there by the striker, Josh March. Yeah, Nyonto just kicking the ball away from March as he put the tackle in. So still 0-0, but a free kick opportunity here for Leeds United. Looks like Rothwell will be left on his own here to take this free kick. Yet to score for Leeds, Joe Rothwell. Started 18 of the last 19 Championship games after not starting any of the first 7 after his arrival on loan from Bournemouth. It's a 4-man Harrogate wall. It's just to the right side of the box, so about 25 yards out. He'd have to take something special to score. But he does look like he will go for the shot here. Rothwell. As he'll line it up and he'll cross it instead to the far post towards Gilavogi. He's overhit it. And that'll go for a goal kick for Harrogate. Poor delivery in the end there by Joe Rothwell, who's got one FA Cup goal to his name. It was for Oxford. It was a home goal against Macclesfield back in December 2016. And there is Daniel Farker. Of course, as a manager, never faced Harrogate, but has beaten the best, though, in his managerial career. Daniel Farker beat Pep Guardiola's Manchester City at Carrow Road back in September 2019. It was a 3-2 win that day. As it'll be a goal kick here for James Belshaw. Over 200 appearances for Harrogate. Joined back permanently to the club in January of last year. As these goal kicks headed away by Ampadu, then headed back forward, but then cleared into the air by Gilavogi. Headed forward, though, for Harrogate. Flicked on by March, but volleyed up in the air by Byram. James Daly slipped, so it allows Schmidt to win the header, but then cleared forward for Harrogate. Then headed back away by Ampadu. Another header forward by Burrell. Down the Harrogate left. It's been kept in by the header of Ampadu, has it? No, it hasn't. Just goes out of play, thrown for Harrogate just inside the Leeds half. On this near side. And of course, it'll be their captain to take again, Warren Burrell. Started at Mansfield and left them in 2009. Headed inside by Schmidt, the Leeds full-back, then headed away by Burrell. Picked up by Schmidt, who will be avoiding the challenge of Daly, then playing it to the left here to Ramazani. Now Byram on the ball, Ramazani overlap, but then he plays it into the left channel there, looking for Solomon. But dealt with here by Bryn Morris. It's now Cornelius for Harrogate down the line, but finds Rothwell on halfway. And Leeds United have it once again, 33 minutes in. It's Leeds 0, Harrogate 0. Byram down the left-hand side, can't quite find Solomon. Dealt with here by Sims, and then Cornelius tripped by Byram. And here's a free kick for the away side. And they've played 32 games already this season in all competitions, Harrogate Town, losing 17 of them, 10 of them at home. You know, it's a lot of games for these League 2 and League 1 sides who've also got the EFL trophy to play in as well. Didn't do too well in that Harrogate Town this season, out in the group stage of that. But Harrogate Town fans will be happy so far. It must be said, like I said, they were 7 without a win before the win away at Barrow last weekend, and that run went from the 3rd of December to New Year's Day. So they'll be glad that they picked up that win. Stroke headed backwards that time, cleared on the edge of the box by Byram. Can't quite keep it on the halfway line though there, Matteo Joseph, who went in, who had a strong tackle on him there by Jasper Moon. And he's back to his feet now as Harrogate try and play it forward towards Muldoon, picked up though by Strauch. And Leeds have it back with their goalkeeper in the 18-yard box, Carl Darlow. As for Leeds United, they have progressed from 4 of their last 5 FA Cup ties against Yorkshire opposition. The last time they won against a Yorkshire side in the FA Cup was Rotherham at Ellen Road in January 2016. But for Harrogate, they have never kept 3 consecutive clean sheets in a row in the FA Cup proper from the first round onwards. That's James Daly battling with Schmidt in the left-back position for Harrogate, and he deals with him well. Burrell comes out to help, and with his left foot, he can kick it off Ramazani, and it's going to be a throw-in for Harrogate. Here's a really solid performance so far, the captain, Warren Burrell. Only 6 starts for him in the league this season, and he has got 2 in a row. And he was a late sub in the second round FA Cup game against Gainsborough. As his throw-in is dealt with by Gilavogi. And it's Leeds again with the ball. 10 minutes before the break. Still goalless here. We've not had really any proper clear-cut chances so far. And I think what was interesting for Leeds, they brought 9 new signings in this season. A lot of them a lot older. Their average age of one of their new signings was 27. Which I think shows that they need just a little bit more experience in the side to get them over the line after missing out last season in the playoff final. Schmidt into the box, loads of space for Solomon. Right-footed, shoots across goal. It's a great block, but the ball bounces around in the area and eventually cleared. Controlled though by Strauch midway inside the Harrogate half. Solomon left in too much space there in the box, but they got away with it, Harrogate, as it's Nyonto on the right wing. Has Schmidt overlapping. Nyonto plays it to him in the box. It's a brilliant ball. Can he find the right pass? It's a cut back which has come off Jasper Moon, and it will be a corner on the near side for Leeds. Could link up there between Willie Nyonto and the right back Isaac Schmidt. But the cut back from the full back wasn't quite where it needed to be. But Leeds do have a corner kick as their reward for their last attack. Played short here. It's Solomon. Back it goes even further to Schmidt. Then back out to Solomon. Has space to cross it, and he will put the ball into the 6-yard box. And the header's wide by Gilavogi, or is it a defensive header wide by O'Connor? Whichever it was, it's meant Harrogate avoid conceding a goal. Teasing ball by Solomon. The keeper never came. And O'Connor put his right boot up into the air to try and avoid the Gilavogi header. And it looks like the last touch came off the Harrogate man. That is serious defending from Anthony O'Connor, the former Ireland under-21 international. His 8 appearances for the under-21s came all in 2013. 98th appearance tonight for Harrogate as the outswinger from Rothwell goes to the near post. It's a header away, but only as far as Solomon. And Leeds restart on the halfway line with Isaac Schmidt. Goes to the left there into the 18-yard box to Strauch. In the centre circle to Strauch. Then to the far side to Ramazani, who's going to bring the ball forward, running at Morris into the box. Right-footed, he will shoot towards the top right corner. And again, it's very wide and also very high from Largi Ramazani. Making his FA Cup debut, spent 3 years at Manchester United. The Belgian made 1 appearance off the bench against Astana away in the Europa League back in November 2019. I think they lost that game that night, Manchester United. But before joining United, he was at Anderlecht in his home country. Left them in 2013, then joined Charlton for 4 years. And then after Charlton is when he made his move to Manchester United. Yeah, with the goal kick here from Belshaw. Out to the Harrogate left, beyond the halfway line. It's a header forward by Ampadu, but as far as Daly. Then Morris trying to play out to the left wing towards March. Cleared. And the last touch there off Sutton. And it's a throw-in on the near side for Leeds, just inside their own half at the moment. Might remember Leeds and their historic Old Trafford win in the FA Cup. I feel like it's shown every year. Beat United in the 09-10 season. Jermaine Beckford with the only goal to win it 1-0 at Old Trafford. And that was in the third round. And when they progressed to the fourth round, they faced Spurs and they were able to draw with them 2-2 away, but then were beaten here at home in the replay 3-1. But like I say, I feel like I see that goal every year, the Beckford goal at Old Trafford. And they want some more FA Cup magic tonight if they can, Leeds United. We're 6 minutes away from the break. It's still 0-0. It's been all Leeds in possession, but not huge chances created, really. As they try and do one here with Solomon on the edge of the box. Poked away from him by Burrell, but always far is Schmidt, who goes inside into a central area to Nyonto. Joseph using his body to keep it away from O'Connor. Then out to the left it goes to Byram, who will try the shot. And it's deflected wide. It was going towards the far corner there by Sam Byram. Leeds number 25. It's his second spell at the club. His first one was from 2005 to 2016. This is his 80th appearance under Daniel Farke, because he worked with the German manager for a bit of time at Norwich. So on this near side, it's going to be a Leeds United corner. Rothwell's over it again. Goes short once again to Solomon. Schmidt runs forward to the edge of the box, and he delivers a low ball in towards Nyonto on the penalty spot. Spins and shoots, it's blocked. Joseph goes for the shot as well, that's also blocked. Drops to Ramazani. Quick 1-2 with Nyonto. Then lifts it out wide right here to Solomon. Just forced away from goal here by Cornelius. But tries to take on the number 8, and he does do so and gets the cross in the box. And the header at the near post by Burrell hits the side netting. Another corner for Leeds, but again, really resolute defending here from Harrogate Town, who have not done a great deal going forward, but you wouldn't expect that. But they have really been solid defensively. But another corner kick, again on the near side. Will it go short, or will they just directly put it in the box? It's going to be a direct cross from Rothwell, gliding it to the far post. Strauch heading it forward, a volley away by Toby Sims for Harrogate. Controlled though by Schmidt for Leeds, who gets it under control and works his way out to the right-hand side into the final third of the pass forward to Nyonto, then goes back to Rothwell, driving more into a central area here, the number 8, and then playing it to his left to Strauch. Everyone behind the ball again for Harrogate. It's Solomon. Forward to Byram, works it back to Solomon on this far side, running at Sutton. Going on the outside of him and crossing it left-footed towards Joseph at the near post. It just goes beyond the Spaniard and into the gloves of Belshaw. Feel like they're getting closer and closer here, Leeds United. But they are still riding the wave, Harrogate, and surviving. Just a bit of energy and speed from Solomon. Got him a bit of space to put the cross into the near post. And Joseph isn't far away at that near post. And it was a very well-held cross in the end by the goalkeeper, who kicks it long, deflects off Schmidt into a central area, but swept up by Byram on the edge of the box. That's now with Ampadu on this near side, bringing it forward, playing a pass into the Harrogate half, can't quite be kept under control by Ramazani, but then James Daly gives it away for Harrogate Town, and now it's played forward to Matteo Joseph, running at O'Connor. Joseph onto his right foot, just outside the box, he hits the post, aiming for the bottom left corner, and the ball eventually goes behind for a goal kick. That's the closest Leeds United have come. We were just saying how it feels like the Leeds goal might be on its way soon, but it's the woodwork which avoids the opener at Ellen Road. Looks like the goalkeeper was beaten. Just rolling it to the bottom left corner. It's not a bad strike. Just couldn't quite get it inside the post. Instead it hit the outside and out it went for a goal kick. Just about to hit the 43rd minute. And it still Leeds 0, Harrogate 0 in this first ever competitive meeting between the two. Long goal kick again towards the Harrogate left-hand side. Misses Gilavogi, then controlled by Muldoon. It's now James Daly on the left-hand side. Forward it goes, but just behind the run of March. And then it's swept up in the 18-yard box by Strauch. And it's Leeds again who will come forward to attack. They've got some difficult games coming up at home. Leeds, they've got to welcome Sheffield Wednesday, who aren't having a bad season with Danny Roll, aiming towards the playoff spots. And then they've also got to host Norwich as well, who were beaten badly today in the FA Cup against Brighton at home. Then they've got to travel away at the end of the month to Burnley. It's not the easiest games for Leeds coming up, but we know a full season in this division is never easy. Probably the hardest division to get out of. This is Solomon Running at Sims and Cornelius just outside the box on the left-hand side. Tries to go on the outside is Sims, but the touch is heavy. But the last touch comes off Sims, and that'll be a corner kick for Leeds. Toby Sims disagrees. The right wing back, born in Worksop in Nottingham, spent a good chunk of his career so far, Toby Sims, in America, from May 2017 to January 2023, when he left Pittsburgh to join Harrogate on a free. As the corner kick did not result in any chance, but it's now Leeds on the far side with a throw-in taken back to the halfway line here to the number 8 Rothwell, and now to Ampadu, the number 4, the Welsh international. Has suffered 3 relegations in his career though, Ampadu, with Sheffield United, and then 2 in Italy with Spezia and Venezia. Solomon on the left wing running at Sims once again. Cornelius is doubling up, and both of them together avoid his first pass, but then it runs back to Solomon, who goes to the edge of the box to Ampadu. Pass forward, can't be controlled by Ramazani, but then the hurried clearance there by March means it's another Leeds throw-in on the far side. Left wing position here with Byram. Goes back here into Rothwell. Lifted ball into the box for the run of Ramazani, who controls it. He's taken out of the 18-yard box. He's been tracked though by O'Connor. On his right foot on the left wing. Got a couple of options in the box. He goes back though instead to Rothwell. Now to the right to Ampadu, about 25 yards out. 1 minute added on here at Ellen Road. Schmidt, the right back, finds Nyonto on the edge of the area. Trying to find a bit of space for a cross. He finds that cross, but he's overhit it. Straight over and out for a goal kick. And it looks like at half-time it will be Leeds 0, Harrogate 0. We've still got another 40 seconds left, but don't get me wrong, as the second half has gone on, Leeds have looked more likely to score. But for the majority of this half, it's been a really solid and sound Harrogate Town defensive display so far. Not for the first time, it's a James Belshaw goal kick. And again, beyond the halfway line, can it be headed on by Sutton? No, but it will go through towards March. You can't quite keep the ball close to him as he chests it down. And after a minute of added on time, we do get the half-time whistle from tonight's referee, James Bell. And it is Leeds 0, Harrogate Town 0. So far, it has, of course, been all Leeds. They have had well over 70% of the ball, and they have had 13 shots, which would make you think they've had loads of big chances, but not really. 3 of them have been on target. We've had one of those shots which hit the post from Matteo Joseph towards the end of the first half, but a lot of the shots have either been wide and high or right at the goalkeeper, other than that one that hit the post, which was unfortunate from the Spaniard, who is looking to score just his 3rd goal of the season, and it would be his 3rd in his FA Cup career after scoring a brace last season at Stamford Bridge. But for Harrogate, they've had one shot, it was on target, but their main claim for a goal was in the 12th minute. A ball in behind for Josh March to give chase to. He headed it into the 18-yard box and ran around Gilavogi, and as he got in front of the French defender, he seemed to have tangled his legs with the Harrogate forward, bringing him down in the box, but the referee waved it away as no penalty kick. And that was pretty much all Harrogate did in the Leeds 18-yard box. But it was a big, big shout for a penalty. And I think Leeds United, looking back, will find themselves rather fortunate that it wasn't given. But so far here at half-time, at Ellen Road, it is Leeds United 0, Harrogate Town 0. And in the other game, that has also just been blown for half-time. And it is Manchester City 3, Salford City 0. Of course, a scoreline you'd probably expect, in all honesty. The goals have come from Doku, Mubama and O'Reilly. And unlike the Etihad here at Ellen Road, we've not had a goal yet. But we have had a ball that is crashed the post, and we have also had a very big shout for a penalty for Harrogate Town, which wasn't given. Which, you know, come the end of the game, if Leeds end up winning, I'm sure Harrogate will be looking at that and wondering what could have been different if they were given that penalty in the 12th minute. For me, I thought it was a penalty. It was a tangle of legs by Gilavogi, the centre-back for Leeds tonight, who got himself in a right mess. Allowed the Harrogate striker, Josh March, to get in front of him. And, like I say, clipped his legs, brought him down. But no, the penalty was not given by the referee, James Bell. big call. But for Harrogate, of course, an FA Cup run would probably help with funds and, trying to bring in a couple of players in January, but their main aim and their main focus is League Two and survival. They've got Cheltenham at home coming up, then Colchester and Doncaster away towards the end of the month. And like I say, it's a difficult division, League Two. It definitely can be, especially when you're near the bottom. It just seems like the signings this season for Harrogate just haven't quite been as successful as they would like. They've only got 2 of their signings from this season starting tonight. The man on loan from Burton, Jasper Moon, at the back starts, and of course their January signing, Bryn Morris. But their other signings haven't quite had the desired impact. They've got Stephen Duke McKenna on the bench, who they brought in on a free from QPR. He spent last season on loan, the second half of the season on loan at Sutton, where he only got 2 League Two goals, and that was in a brace on the last game of the season away at MK Dons, where they drew 4-4. And then their other signing, in terms of an attacking signing, Ellis Taylor, they brought in from Sunderland on a free. The 21-year-old, he's only scored 3 goals so far this season in the league, and they all came in the first 8 games, with his last at home against Bradford on the 28th of September. So they're just lacking goals. Harrogate, they have scored 36 in 32 games in all competitions so far, just 21 in 25 in the league, which shows you they're not even averaging a goal a game at the moment. And as I mentioned before, they are missing their top goal scorer from last season, Thompson, who's currently out at the moment for Harrogate, and he's been a big miss for them. They could do with him being back quickly. He was injured in the first game of the season, unfortunately. For Harrogate Town, he scored 16 for them as their top scorer, 12 of them at home, 4 of them away. But at the moment, it is a goalless draw. And let's see how long this scoreline does last. Like I say, Leeds looking to reach the 4th round for a 3rd season in a row. They've come in there. They have got to the 5th round in the last 2 seasons. Leeds United. But they've not really had a long run for a while. The last time they had a run which got them to the quarter-final stage was in the 02-03 season, when they were beaten away at Sheffield United in the last 8. So it just shows you how long it's been since Leeds United have had a real run in this competition. But for Leeds, they've got a very strong lineup out at the moment, which should really get them the win in this game. But if it gets any longer in the game and it stays 0-0, they have plenty of quality to bring on off the bench. They've got Dan James, who's currently got 6 goals this season in the league, 4 of them in his last 10. Was out injured at the start of the season with a hamstring problem, but seems to be scoring the goals. A man as well who's been reintroduced to Leeds is Brendan Aronson, brought in for just under 25 million in July 2022 from RB Salzburg, and he spent last season on loan at Union Berlin after the Leeds relegation, and they've not been able to sell him, so they've kept him around this season, and he's having a great time in the Championship. He's featured in every game so far this season and in all competitions, the American. 7 league goals, 3 in his last 7 against Derby, Oxford and Middlesbrough, and he started 25 of Leeds' 28 games in all competitions now. 24 years of age, never scored though in the FA Cup. Also got a returning Ilya Gruev as well, the Bulgarian midfielder. He's been out since the start of October with a knee injury. He missed the last 18 games with that injury. He's back on the bench tonight, which is a very much welcomed introduction for Daniel Farke. They've also got Ao Tanaka, the Japanese central midfielder they brought in from Dusseldorf in the summer. He scored an absolute worldie for his first Leeds goal in their last game against Hull from outside the box, scoring the goal. And then they've got plenty of defensive enforcements in case they're needed for Leeds United. But the second half of this game will be getting underway again once again in about 5 or so minutes time. But just to go through some of the other FA Cup results, I was going to say from this week, because of course the FA Cup third round game started on Thursday, didn't they? Which I can't say I really do agree with, but we had Cardiff beating Sheffield United away from home 1-0 on the Thursday. Fulham soundly beat Watford 4-1 at Craven Cottage as well. And then Everton, under Baines and Coleman, won 2-0 at home against Peterborough. And then last night on Friday we had 3 games, didn't we? Was it just the 2? Just the 2. Wycombe, high flying in League One, beat Portsmouth, who were struggling in the Championship, and Aston Villa made the comeback against Potter's West Ham to win 2-1. And then the early kick-offs today, we had Bristol being beaten at home 2-1 to Wolves, all 3 goals coming in the first half. Middlesbrough were knocked out at home against Blackburn, who were doing well under John Eustace in the Championship. And Birmingham, 2-1 winners at home to Lincoln. I think they scored their opening goal in the 24th second of the game. Birmingham, and then of course at home Accrington Stanley. Well, I mean Leeds, Liverpool were at home, but they were playing against Accrington Stanley and they won 4-0. We had loads of goals in the Leicester game. They beat QPR 6-2. Van Nistelrooy getting Leicester City scoring. And then the 3 o'clock kickoffs, Forest comfortably beat Luton 2-0. Biggest upset so far of the round, it is Brentford, who are one of the best teams in the country at home, were beaten by one of the worst teams in the country away from home, Plymouth, winning 1-0. Morgan Whittaker, their main shining star, with the goal in the 82nd minute, and then Chelsea beating Morecambe 5-0, and then Bournemouth also scoring 5, but conceding the 1 against West Brom, winning 5-1. Brighton away at Norwich was 4-0 winners, the Seagulls, and then Burnley needed extra time to beat Reading 3-1. Exeter of League One, who are doing well towards the playoff spots, they beat Championship Oxford United, who have done decently under their new management of Gary Rowett. And Sunderland, in extra time, were beaten by Stoke. They went behind in the 4th minute, Sunderland, and then got the equaliser in the 64th minute, but then lost it in the 112th minute. As Stoke go on to the 4th round, and then currently at the moment we've got a couple of games going on. We've got this one, of course, Leeds against Harrogate, which is 0-0. City lead Salford 3-0. And Coventry and Sheffield Wednesday kicked off at 6 o'clock, and Coventry lead 1-0. Liam Kitching with the goal. So they're the results from the FA Cup third round so far. We've got plenty of games coming up as well. Tomorrow, one of them I am off to, which I'm excited about. I am travelling tomorrow to London. I am going to Selhurst Park for Crystal Palace against Stockport County, as I'm open on this channel. I do follow and support Stockport County, go to all the home games, season ticket holder, try and go to as many away games as possible. The last away game I went to for Stockport County was Birmingham, and we got beat on a Wednesday night 2-0. That wasn't very fun. But yeah, I am making the trip to London tomorrow, to Selhurst Park, which I am really excited for. Also went to Huddersfield away as well, where we were beaten 1-0 against Huddersfield. We conceded in about 20 seconds that day, which was slightly frustrating. But if any of you in the chat have been to an FA Cup game this weekend, let me know, where have you been, who have you gone to see, and did your team win? Because yeah, like I say, early start for me tomorrow to get to Selhurst Park. I'm looking forward to it. It's the first Premier League away ground I've been to. Well, my first Premier League ground when the team are in the Premier League, because of course Huddersfield, where I've been to on Boxing Day, they were in the Premier League. Birmingham was also once of the Premier League, but I've never been to an away ground in the Premier League where they are currently active in the top flight of English football. So yeah, looking forward to it. It should be a good game. Fingers crossed. Hopefully it's not a heavy one in terms of the scoreline. But the second half of this game will be getting underway now in a couple of minutes' time as Leeds. We're getting closer in terms of opening the scoring, but we weren't quite able to get that ball into the back of the net. And Harrogate will be happy So far, with what they've done, they've reached the second round in the last 2 seasons, Harrogate. And then 3 seasons ago is when they reached the third round, but were beaten by Luton. Got for Harrogate Town. They are looking to win the first ever Yorkshire derby between these two sides in a competitive way. I doubt there'll be any changes at half time for any of the two teams, but I think as the half goes on, if Leeds is still being held at 0-0, I'm sure they'll look to try and bring on some of their regular first teamers that are on the bench tonight, as we were just listing just before. No out-and-out striker, though, on the bench. Piru's having a full break and a rest. He's not even in the squad tonight, the Dutchman. And they're also missing Gelhardt and Bamford as well. So we're just waiting for the two sets of starting 11s to re-emerge back onto the pitch at Ellen Road, which was opened in 1897, the stadium, and last renovated in the 11-12 season. But like I say, at the moment, at Ellen Road, the closest we got was Matteo Joseph hitting the post in the 42nd minute. And then we've had a big Harrogate penalty claim in the 12th minute. Gillavogi bringing down March, but the referee waved it away as we see here the Leeds United squad back on the pitch. And it's also Harrogate as well, coming out at the same time. So the second half will be underway shortly here, as we're looking possibly at an upset. Remember, there's no replays anymore in the FA Cup because the higher clubs in the English game don't care about the lower league clubs, so we have no replays anymore, unfortunately. So it'll go straight to extra time and penalties if it is level after 90, and if it's level after 120 minutes, it will be penalty kicks. Doesn't look like any substitutions at half time, which we expected. Like I said before as well, if Harrogate lose tonight, it'll be their 300th loss under their manager, Simon Weaver, who's been in charge since 2009. Started as player manager, then became just the full manager in 2011. Won the FA Trophy with Harrogate in 2020, which is kind of like the non-league League Cup for the teams outside the EFL. As it'll be Harrogate to kick us off, kicking left to right towards their away support, which are behind that goal, just to the right side of the stand, and Leeds right to left. As Harrogate send a high ball out to the left-hand side, it's a header forward by Schmidt for Leeds, the full-back, to Nyonto, who kicks it up into the air towards halfway. Morris heads forward for Harrogate, controlled here by Muldoon. Takes too long to take the ball towards Cornelius, and it's pit-pocketed, and then Leeds try and go forward with Rothwell, cleared by O'Connor. Headed out wide by Muldoon, it deflects, and can it be kept alive here for Harrogate? No, Schmidt gets there first. And it's now Leeds on the ball in their own half. And again, Harrogate coming close there, just trying to get something going in the Leeds United half. Halfway line, far side, it's Nyonto. Back into Gillavogi, it's now Strauch, the number 5. Born in Belgium, but his nationality is the Dutch. Strauch, former Dutch under-17 international. Nyonto trying to link up with Joseph, poked away, and it's now back with Leeds on the halfway line with Pascal Strauch. Now Gillavogi. To his left to Ampadu. Byram. Into Ramazani. Byram, down the line for Solomon, inside to Joseph, touches it into Ramazani, 25 yards out, lifts the ball into the box towards the far post. It can be dealt with though by James Daly, as he was having to track the run there of Isaac Schmidt, the full-back, 25 years of age with the dreadlocks. Takes the throw in as well. Gets the return ball there from Joseph. Tackled there by Moon, and it will be a throw in again for Leeds in the final third on that far side. Thrown into Nyonso. It's now Ampadu. To the left to Rothwell. Now on the left wing with Ramazani. Try to get away there from Sims. His pass is cleared though by O'Connor. It's now to the right side for Leeds here with Schmidt. Driving inside. Trying to find the pass. Playing it through towards Joseph. Cut out though. And now Harrogate try and get away, but again couldn't be controlled by Muldoon. Nothing's really stuck for the number 18 so far for Harrogate tonight. There's Ramazan in the box on the left-hand side towards the byline. The touch is heavy, but the cross is made, and it's gone out of play though for a goal kick. Needs to be having closer control than that. Largi Ramazani, the former Belgian under-21 international. So we're taken by the goalkeeper, James Belshaw. Just his 12th appearance in the FA Cup proper for Belshaw from the first round onwards. Right-footed. Again, out towards the Harrogate left-hand side, beyond the halfway line. Headed forward, though, by Ampadu. Cleared forward by Burrell. Down the Harrogate left. Gilavogi deals with it with a big header away, but only as far as Sutton. He lifts it into the air again towards Gilavogi, who can control it all on his own. And then play it forward to Ampadu, then goes back to Schmidt, then across to the left here to Strauch, well played by Leeds. And it's now with the left-back, Sam Byram. Never scored in the FA Cup. Now at the age of 31. Sam Byram, over 200 appearances as well for Leeds. Signed in August 2023 on a free from Norwich. 3.5 minutes into the second half. No big chances yet created for Leeds as they try and take one now with Nyonso. Chasing the ball down, pushing Burrell to the ground. And I think it'll be a goal kick for Harrogate, well defended by the captain. Probably been their best player so far tonight. I feel like it's the name I've said the most so far, Warren Burrell. Has scored as well once this season, the captain. That was in the EFL Trophy at home to Blackpool in the middle of November. So it's actually been given as a free kick, just in front of the byline on the left-hand side. It was taken by Belshaw. Big kick forward. Can he be helped on by Cornelius? No header won there by Byram. Headed back forward though. But the play's been stopped as Cornelius is down with a head injury. After he'd lost that header to Byram. Byram's got up there. Bit of an elbow in the back, possibly back of the head. It's more his shoulder, his elbow, his rather tucked in, it must be said. But still just clattered into from behind there. The number 8, Dean Cornelius, this is his first club outside of Scotland. He is a Scottish-born player. Left Motherwell to join Harrogate back in July 2023. Like I say, it's his first club outside of Scotland. As we're back underway with Leeds on the ball in their own half with Gilavogi. Strauch on halfway. Gilavogi forward to Nyonso. Having to go back into his own half here to Gilavogi. Forward again to Ampadu. It's now with Strauch, the left centre-back. Rothwell. Into Ampadu in the centre circle. Finding a nice pocket of space there. Then trying to find a ball out wide right, but it's cut out. And now Harrogate are on the break. Cornelius is set away on the right-hand side. He's through into the box. Can Cornelius reach it before Strauch? He can! But the shot is poor. And it goes straight into the gloves of Carl Darlow. Like I said, the pass was just not quite to Cornelius there. He had a lot to do. And couldn't quite get a proper shot off at goal. Deflected on its way through and a comfortable save for Darlow in the end of Solomon. Can't quite get away there from Toby Sims and no foul seen by the referee. Harrogate have it in their own half. Again Muldoon with a poor pass. It's not his greatest game, has he, tonight, Jack Muldoon? As a header forward by Morris into the centre circle for Harrogate. Dealt with by Ampadu, who heads it backwards but straight to Muldoon. It's now Cornelius. Out wide right to Muldoon. March has made a running behind. Has he stayed on side? He has on the right wing. No one in the box with him at the moment. The angle's tight. He goes for the shot, which deflects off Ampadu. And it's a corner for Harrogate on the near side. Well won there by Josh March, who was timing his run really well. Did not take his eye off the Leeds United defensive line to make sure he could stay on side. There's a Cornelius chance again, just collided with Strauch as he tried to force the ball towards goal. Like I say, he made a comfortable save in the end for Darlow. And they are the Harrogate Town supporters in full voice as they've got an in-swinging corner to be delivered in here by their number 11, James Daly. Assisted their winner in the second round. Can he get another assisted to put them in front at Leeds? It's a deep one to the far post. It's fumbled by Darlow, but then cleared at the far post by Nyonto. It will be a Harrogate throw in towards halfway, but that was just a bit of a nervy moment there by the goalkeeper, Carl Darlow. Couldn't quite keep the ball in his grasp. Be a throw in on that far side for Warren Burrell. Yet to score in the FA Cup himself in his career, excluding the qualifying games. Throw in is headed on twice, and it's controlled by Cornelius, looking for March on the edge of the box, who gets the ball away from Gilavogi. Muldoon now kicking it off Strauch. And the clearance is poor, and the cross can go in for Harrogate. It's a teasing one into the 6-yard box, but it's caught by Darlow. That's a good minute or two there for Harrogate, where they put pressure on the Leeds goal, asking for handball off Strauch, but it touched his stomach and then onto his hand, which was quite near, close to his side. It would have been a very harsh penalty to give. It's still 0-0 here. We're now 8 minutes into the second half. Harrogate are certainly doing themselves proud here. They're defending really well, but when they get forward, they do look like they could possibly do something. Just need a bit more from there. More experienced striker, 35 years old, Jack Muldoon, and he's just not been able to really keep hold of the ball today as Nyonto tries to slip it through for Schmidt, the right-back who's making the run forward. Sliding challenge from James Daly, and it's a throw-in in the final third on that far side for Leeds United, who haven't lost a game of football since the end of November. Currently 8 unbeaten. Schmidt's touch is heavy. It's now with Sutton, who clears it long for Harrogate. Up towards March, dealt with by Strauch. It's now on the halfway line with Byram at left back. Leeds can try and attack again if possible. Solomon try to take on Sims. Byram getting on his bike to overlap, and he can find the pass there, and it's a big tackle there from Sims, and it's kept in by Byram on the byline. Back he goes to Solomon. On the angle, he goes for the shot towards the top right corner, and it grazes the crossbar and over the bar. It looks like as soon as it left his boot, that was going into the top corner there from Manor Solomon. Well found in the box there by Byram, who just about kept it in play. And he was bending it to that far corner. He got enough curl on it, but just hit the top of the crossbar and over it went. And another part of the woodwork kit. They hit the left-hand post in the first half of Leeds, and now they've hit the crossbar. And it's just not quite happening for them so far. Reached the second round last season. Harrogate beaten away at Bolton 5-1 after winning away in the first round 5-1 themselves against Marine. That's Sutton battling on the Harrogate left, and the last touch comes off Schmidt. It's a throw-in in the Leeds half here for Harrogate. Good work in that midfield there by Levi Sutton, who's never scored an away goal for Harrogate since joining the club in January 2023 from Bradford. Throw-in's going to go down the line and as long as possible by Burrell. Headed forward. Touched there by Muldoon to Cornelius. Then back to Sutton. Then down the line for Daly, who will get there ahead of Schmidt. Cross comes off the full-back, deflects in the air. Touchdown by Ampadu, can't find Nyonto, but it does work its way to Schmidt, who then goes to Ampadu, whose clearance is blocked there, and it drops to March, who shoots. It's a great save from Darlow. And that is Harrogate's biggest chance. Couldn't clear his lines there, Ampadu, and it fell nicely to Josh March. The Ampadu clearance came off James Daly. And as it came off his foot, it dropped for March, who just inside the box hit it with his right foot. Side-footed finish, but it was saved comfortably in the end at the near post by Darlow. But in the second half, Harrogate look a lot better going forward, even though it's not a lot they're doing. It's more than they were doing in the first half. As Schmidt gets beyond one Harrogate defender and can't get the cross in before the ball goes out. And it is a goal kick for Leeds United, for Harrogate. Schmidt, the right back there for Leeds, thought that he'd kept the ball in there, but the linesman on the far side disagreed. I think it's Ian Cooper, the linesman on that far side, who did not give that, who said that the ball had gone out. Long goal kick by Belshaw, header won by Byram again, out to the right side to Nonto, who's pushed in the back, and on the halfway line that will be a foul. Shoved by Burrell. Nonto stays down, making his 99th appearance for Leeds, the 21-year-old. He's got 3 FA Cup goals. He scored a brace against Cardiff in the third round replay back in January 2023. Also scored last season in the FA Cup, Nonto, and that was against Plymouth in the replay away from home. Ramazani in the central area. Out to the left it goes here to Rothwell. Byram. Into Rothwell again. Build up on the Leeds left at the moment as they go back to the halfway line to Strauch. In the central area is Ampadu. It's now Nyonto. Far side is now Schmidt. Plays the pass behind him to Ampadu. Strauch keeps the ball moving just into Solomon on the left-hand side. Running here at Cornelius. On the outside of him, he enters the box. The angle's tight, so he goes for the cross, and the header's in. Couldn't miss from 6 yards out. We finally have the opening goal of the game. And it is Ramazani with the goal. He hasn't scored since the middle of October, but he's chose a crucial time to score again for Leeds United. It was just starting to get slightly nervy with Harrogate building some confidence when going forward, but it was worked out to the left-hand side. Solomon left one-on-one with Cornelius, went on the outside of him, and then got across with his left foot, and on the 6-yard line alone, Ramazani had a free header. I think the man who was meant to pick him up was Levi Sutton, and he fell asleep. And it was too late for Burrell, the captain, to get across to try and win the header first. And he just guided it towards the right-hand side of the goal. Belshaw tried his best to try and save it, but was never going to get there. And here, with just over half an hour to play here at Ellen Road, it's Leeds United 1, Harrogate Town 0. The deadlock has finally been broken. As Leeds won a second. Solomon again on the left wing. In the box on the outside again. The cross goes in again, and it's cleared at the near post this time by O'Connor. Well, as far as Byram, who's forward from full back, kicks it off Cornelius. And that's a throw-in for Leeds United, as it's 1-0 to the hosts as they look to get to the 4th round for the 3rd season in a row. Nyonto on the right wing this time, running at Burrell. On the edge of the area, onto his left foot, shooting, it's blocked by Sutton, and it's dropped here for March, who can't get away from Gilavogi. That's a brilliant slide challenge as well, wins the ball. It's now with the goal scorer Ramazani. Out wide it goes to Schmidt, the right back, running at Daly. Pulls it back to the edge of the area to Nyonto. In the central area, he gets the shot off, which is blocked. It's now with Harrogate again here with Morris. Playing it out wide left, can't quite find March, needed it in behind. And Gilavogi intercepts, but then loses it with a poor pass. But the slide tackle from Sutton, the ball reaches Joseph, the striker, who's not had much service today. And when he has had it, he's got close. He hit the post in the first half. Midway inside the Harrogate half. It's out to the left side now with Strauch. Working it to Solomon, assisting the first goal. And driving into the box beyond 2 Harrogate players. And then tackled eventually by Sims. And the clearance from Sims is a high one. It's a long one. And it'll be given chase to by March, who has to deal with Gilavogi. A little push in the back there on the Frenchman. And now they're grappling with each other. And surely it's got to be a free kick to Leeds in the end. And I think it will be. It's just a bit silly there from Josh March to be so aggressive with the pushing and the shoving and the grappling, because if anyone's under pressure there, it's Gilavogi. He's the last defender back. He has to deal with that bouncing long ball forward. But maybe just a bit of frustration after going behind. Josh March just decided to bring him to the ground. Leeds look for a second. Joseph in the box, can't quite get on the end of his touch there. Bit too heavy, cleared by Daly. It's Ampadu on the halfway line. As of course Harrogate at some point in this game are going to have to go for it a little bit more, but of course you've got to be wary of the spaces you're leaving behind, especially with the Leeds attack, which is quite young and quick. But Rothwell trying to link up with Ramazani, gives it away. Muldoon brought to the ground there. March loses out to Strauch, so the play's pulled back there, and it'll be a free kick for Harrogate just inside the Leeds half. Another chance for them to just pump this ball as far into the Leeds half as possible. And the Frenchman goes into the book. Joshua Gilavogi, 34 years of age, signed on a short-term contract. Ball into the box. Header won by O'Connor. Headed away, though, by Byram. Drops towards Ramazani, who can get there ahead of Burrell. But then tackled by Daly. But then Joseph takes it on himself beyond the halfway line. He's got options left and right. Goes to his left to Solomon. It's cut out, though, well by Sutton. And can Harrogate try and get forward themselves again? It's stopped quickly by Schmidt. And it'll be a throw-in for Harrogate. As Manchester City go 5-0 up at home to Salford City. Doku on the right wing, crossing a ball in, and it's finished. I believe that's by McAtee. As we're going to get two changes for Leeds. It's going to be Pascal Strauch off, who missed the game last time out against Hull, and he's replaced by Joe Rodon, who has now played in every game this season for Leeds. The only game he's been subbed off in so far this season was in that home defeat against Burnley back in the middle of September. And the second change of the game for Leeds sees the birthday boy, Joe Rothwell, replaced by their new Japanese central midfielder of Ao Tanaka, who got his first goal in that whole game. It was a cork from the edge of the box. Sims with the throw-in. It's a long one, and it does reach March on the right wing, but he just loses out in the end to Rodon. It's now Darlow in the 6-yard box, can play it out to the right, and it's a poor ball. It's controlled by Daly, but only as far as Schmidt, who clears away for Leeds. It's now with Harrogate at the back with O'Connor. He's going to clip a ball down the left-hand side here. Can they win the first header? No, Schmidt does, and Leeds win the second header with Ampadu. But only as far as Morris, who gets it to Muldoon, who then loses out to Tanaka. And it's Leeds again with possession, with the right back Schmidt going back into Ao Tanaka, the substitute, 26 years of age, brought in from Dusseldorf, where he made 95 appearances for the German club. Scored in the World Cup back in 2022 for Japan in that 2-1 win against Spain. Signed a 4-year deal at Leeds in the summer as Ampadu, third pass, comes off Cornelius but deflects back to Ampadu, and he can now work it to Solomon. And goes to the two centre-backs here of Gilavogi, and it's now with Joe Rodon, the recent substitute. Came through at Swansea, born in Swansea. Came through their academy for 13 years. For 15 years. Before leaving for Spurs. So, quarter of the game left to go here. It's Leeds 1, Harrogate 0. Harrogate resistance is over. It certainly is. And it's frustrating for them because it was literally just one lapse of concentration as well. Levi Sutton leaving his man in the box where he got the free header. And that's the difference between the top sides and the lower league sides. There's a corner here for Leeds on the far side. Mateo Joseph has a shot on the edge of the box deflecting off Anthony O'Connor. And that'll be a corner for Leeds. It's going to be taken by Manor Solomon, who had started 4 of the last 5 in the league. It's going to be a right-footed out-swinger. It's a deep one towards the back post, and it's glanced away. But apparently the ball had gone out as the corner was taken. Must have swung out and out of play. So goal kick for Harrogate. Who are yet to make a change yet. And I'm sure there'll be a good few tired legs and minds out there for the town. And the goal kick is taken into the Leeds half. It's glanced backwards by Ampadu. Daly tackling with Schmidt, and the last touch comes off the Leeds United fullback. And it'll be a Harrogate throw-in, midway side of the Leeds half on the far side. Leeds are really a Prem team in waiting. Probably should have got promoted last season, but were beaten in the playoff final by Southampton. Harrogate have done well, and they should be proud, and they're still in it. You never know. They could get a corner, a long throw-in, which they're going to get another one of here in the final third, the header there off Schmidt. I think at 1-0, any team is always in the game until it's 2. And then you've got a bit more of a mountain to climb. And it's going to be a longer throw-in here. Sims, who's usually a right-sided player, is going to come over to the left-hand side to take this throw-in. To try and cause a bit of havoc in the 18-yard box if they can get it in there. It's thrown in there. It's a big throw as well to the near post. It's Rodon who wins the header, and behind it goes for a corner on the far side. That is a mammoth throw, by the way, from Toby Sims. Didn't quite realise he had that in his locker. He missed the first round game against Wrexham, Toby Sims, but did play in the second round. And it's going to be an in-swinger here from their new signing this January, Bryn Morris, who came through the Middlesbrough Academy as a youngster. In it goes again. It's an in-swinger, and it's a ball into the box, and it's free, and it's loose, and it can't quite be put towards goal. It's Sutton with a shot on the edge of the box. Deflects out wide to O'Connor, who's taking it towards the corner flag. Shielding the ball, getting the last touch off Schmidt, and that'll be another throw-in, which can be taken by Sims. I just don't feel like this is over yet. Harrogate are showing little signs they could do something here. The in-swinger in the box dropped off the foot of Moon, and then couldn't quite be forced into a shot there by Sims. And eventually it's gone for another throw-in on this near side. In it goes to the near post. Glanced on and then away by Joseph. Sutton, though, keeps it alive for Harrogate. Goes back to Burrell, who goes back to the halfway line to Cornelius, then back to the goalkeeper as Ramazani was pressing. But Belshaw goes long, and it's glanced on into the box here. March is chasing it. Schmidt gets there first and has to hurry a clearance away. It'll be another Harrogate throw-in. Another long one into the box. And these Harrogate Town supporters are finding a bit of belief here. Despite trailing, they're in this game and they're going to make a double change. The first substitution will be one that's probably been waiting because he's not had his best day. Jack Muldoon, the 35-year-old striker. He'll come off, and so will Dean Cornelius, and they'll be replaced by number 12, Sam Follerin, and number 21, Ellis Taylor. So 2 wingers on for a striker and a central midfielder. So it is a positive change, for sure, by Simon Weaver. Of course, with that long throw-in, which we've found out in the last few minutes, Toby Sims will take it shortly in this Yorkshire derby. Throw-in goes in. Headed up into the air. Schmidt heads away. Only as far as Sutton. With his right foot. Tripped by Gnonto on the left-hand side. That'll be a free kick. Gnonto doesn't believe there was contact. The referee does, and James Bell whistles for a free kick. Minimal contact, but he's just tripped as he tried to take on the Italian under-21 international. Has made 13 appearances for Italy's senior side, Gnonto, but he's now back playing with the under-21s. He's played for them in the September, October and November international break of last year. Another set-piece chance here for Harrogate. They are giving this a go. And they really have throughout the whole second half, it must be said. It's going to be from the left-hand side. The cross has got to be right. It'll be Morris to take. In it goes. It's headed on to the far post, where the volley is deflected behind for a corner. Sims with the right-footed shot. It came off Schmidt and behind for a corner. Not sure who that was glanced on by. It looks like a Leeds player glanced it on. It's going to be an in-swinger, the left foot here of the recently substituted on Ellis Taylor. Brought in on a free this summer from Sunderland. In it goes to the far post where it's caught by Darlow. Pretty poor corner in the end. Felt like that was going to be the goalkeeper's all the way. He was confident making the catch. And Leeds can play out from the back. We are 73.5 minutes in. It's Leeds 1, Harrogate Town 0. The only goal scored from the Belgian, Laji Ramazani. A header from 6 yards out after a brilliant cross from Manor Solomon. And that was with half an hour to go. As Manchester City now 7-0 up against Salford City. You know, a scoreline that probably won't shock most, it must be said. McAtee with another. It's Darlow on the edge of the box for Leeds with the ball. It's to the left centre half at the moment, and that's Rodon. Goes out to the right here to Ampadu. With that captain's armband on, only at the age of 24, making his 70th Leeds appearance, Ethan Ampadu. There was only one game last season where Ampadu did not feature at all, and that was in the FA Cup 4th round replay. Other than that, he featured in every game in all competitions last season. Ampadu has been a huge part of their team in the last season and a half. As Leeds break out on the left, it's Byram in the final third. Back through for Solomon towards the byline. Sliding challenge from Sutton, who gets the last touch, and it's a corner on the near side. For Leeds United. Levi Sutton, who put the sliding challenge in, has just stayed down here. I'm not sure if he's pulled a muscle or it's just possibly cramp. Because he has put... Yeah, it is cramp. The goalkeeper's given him some treatment. Because those three midfielders have put a right shift in today. One of them's already come off in Dean Cornelius. Levi Sutton, the other one as well, alongside Bryn Morris, who have put a lot of mileage into this game. Showing the replay for the goal, Cornelius being beaten there by Solomon, who just stuck a cross in. Perfect height for the header for Ramazani. And he was all alone and just guided it into the right side of the goal. Levi Sutton straight away knew that it was his man that he left. And he was berated by some of his teammates for leaving him alone. So just under 15 minutes of the 90 left to play. Still 1-0 to Leeds. But Harrogate have definitely been rather positive when they can be. But we've just got a slight pause in the game at the moment as Levi Sutton is receiving some treatment. As Leeds are going to make a change shortly with Dan James coming on. And I don't think Levi Sutton will be able to play any further part. He's walking around the pitch as it stands. And they are going to make that change. So Levi Sutton is off for number 22, Stephen Doolett. making his 60th Harrogate appearance. Only scored once for them since joining in July 2022 from Rochdale, and that was this season in a 2-1 home win against Bradford at the back end of September. He had started the 2 previous FA Cup games. Stephen Doolett, as Leeds are going to make a double change, actually, not just 1 but 2. Sam Byram, the left back, will be coming off of the Dominican Republic full back Junior Firpo, making his 10th FA Cup appearance. The left back scored once against Accrington Stanley away in the 4th round of the FA Cup, and he made his 100th Leeds appearance last time out. Junior Firpo. He's missed the last 7 games, Firpo, and he's back today off the bench. Good few minutes for the fullback. And then Dan James has also come on as the cross goes into the far post from the corner. Misses everyone. And will it be kept in by Joseph on the far side? It will. But then he's tackled strongly by Burrell. And it's a throw-in for Leeds. So Dan James was brought on there, but I'm not quite sure who he replaced. Didn't quite see. Solomon, the assist maker. So Byram and Solomon off for Firpo and Dan James. It's a brand new left-hand side for Leeds. Leeds have it on halfway. Plenty of time on the ball as well for Rodon. Goes forward to Tanaka. Brought forward here for Leeds by Rodon. Then into the space for Schmidt on the right wing position, the full back. Back it goes to Rodon. 12 minutes left to play here at Ellen Road. Inside to Tanaka, then back out wide to Schmidt. Edge of the area, Dan James. Outside the boot, ball into the box towards Joseph on the penalty spot. Surrounded by yellow and black shirts. And he's eventually dispossessed but kept alive in the end as it's worked out to the left side here to Ramazani. On the outside, he gets a cross in again, and then it's kept in by him, and then put back in to the edge of the area, controlled by Nyonso. Works its way to Tanaka. Forward to Joseph around the corner for Firpo. Looks for Ramazani in space. Onto his right foot. Can he work a shot? Goes for the pass instead, and eventually cleared. A bit messy in the end, but Harrogate survive it. Yeah, we were beaten just 6 times away from home in the league last season, Harrogate Town. They've already been beaten 6 times this season in the league, so you can just see why they are slipping further down the table compared to when they were in mid-table last season. Ramazani, ball inside to Firpo. Back into Ramazani with a back heel, but there was an offside flag up there anyway. It's going to be a yellow card, I think, for the talking back there to the referee by Ramazani, the goal scorer. I think so. Don't think he was happy with the offside decision. Said a few words and he's been booked by the referee. Big kick forward from Belshaw. Flicked on with the header towards March in the box, who doesn't beat Darlow to it. And the shot eventually towards goal by Daly is sliced out, I think, for a throw-in. Darlow had to get there first as the header was glanced on him behind. It was a brilliant header won there by Daly. Like I say, Darlow came out and he had to get there, and he did, or that would have been a penalty. Really strong, brave goalkeeping by Darlow, and then the follow-up by Daly, sliced behind for a throw-in. Harrogate have it back, but not for long, as the ball forward towards Follering is swept up by Rodon, but the touch is heavy and out of play. Harrogate throw-in in the final third far side, and we know they've got a long throw-in. Another bit of a lapse of concentration there from the substitute Joe Rodon, who joined permanently this summer from Spurs for £10 million after spending last season on loan here at Leeds. Just one goal in it. Harrogate aren't out of this at the moment if they can keep creating opportunities like this, even if they are from long throw-ins and possible corner kicks as well. Leeds and Harrogate players, bit of shoving in the box. The referee just wants a word with a couple of them. I think it's Moon and Ampadu who he's having a word with. And eventually the throw-in from the far side is taken. In it goes, headed away by Ramazani. Back out wide though by Morris to Sims, whose cross is shocking. And cleared by Ampadu up to the halfway line to Burrell, who's under pressure but deals with that pressure. No, he doesn't. He fouls Ramazani in the end as he kicks him by accident as he was going for the ball instead. And it will be a yellow card for the captain. Coming up towards 400 appearances for the club. Warren Burrell. Yeah, just went to kick the ball and kick the man instead. Yellow card. Can't have too many complaints. Another double change for Harrogate. It's going to be James Daly off for Stephen Duke McKenna. And the final change, we'll see their long thrower. Hopefully they have another one in the team, because I wouldn't have brought him off if they don't. So that is Toby Sims. He comes off for Zico Asari. Brought in the summer from Maidenhead. Started 3 of the last 5. He had played every minute in the FA Cup and League Cup before today. His first ever season in the EFL for Asari. Never scored in professional football as well. There's got 7 minutes left of the 90. It's Leeds in the centre circle with Tanaka. Forward to Ramazani, then into Joseph, who can keep it away from Dooley. Joseph still has the edge of the aerial. Let fly, and it's not far. Towards the right-hand side of the goal. And it's really not far. Heart in the mouth moment there for Harrogate. Just got beyond 3 or 4 Harrogate plays. Oh, it's just wide and high. Not a bad attempt there from Matteo Joseph at all. And it stays 1-0 for now as Manchester City get their 8th. McAtee again with the goal. And Burrell heads away for Harrogate. Not dealt with by Gilavogi. And then lifted out to the right-hand side here to Ellis Taylor, who will get there ahead of Firpo. On that right-hand side here for Harrogate in the final third. Shifts it onto his left foot and the cross deflect backwards. But still with Harrogate for now. Into the middle it goes. The touch is poor though by Moon. And he loses out to Ampadu. And then Nontio gets there ahead of the Harrogate man. And it's now Joseph bearing down on goal. Plays it into the path for Dan James. The angle's tight and the keeper makes the save. Should have been 2. Just overran it there. Moon Ampadu got in there. And then again, Morris was beaten to it by Nyonto. And then Joseph was running at O'Connor. Played it to his right to James. Pass wasn't great. Bit overhit. The angle was tight. And in the end, he's tried to go across goal there, James. But the keeper got his outstretched leg to it. Just over 5 minutes to play here at Ellen Road. It's still 1-0. It's not exactly over yet. It's going to be an outswinger from Dan James, the substitute. Former Manchester United winger. In it goes to the near post. It's a lower one. Cleared there by Follering for Harrogate. But straight back to James. Into the box for Ampadu. On once more to his left to Tanaka, who can shoot. It's well blocked. And it's got there, Duke McKenna. Ahead of Ampadu. Can't quite release the pass though forward. And it's played forward by Ampadu instead. James running with it. Tackled by Burrell. And he can head it away for Harrogate. But only as far as the captain. It's now Nyonto in the central area. Back to the halfway line it goes to Gilavogi. You can just turn away from March. Calmly done by the Frenchman. That's now with the Japanese central midfielder of Ao Tanaka. Ampadu into the middle again this time to the number 17 Ramazani. It's now Tanaka in the central area again. Just playing it back. Keeping the ball moving to Ampadu. Goes to the far side here to James. Back it goes into Tanaka. Forward to Nyonto, then back into Tanaka. It's now in the Leeds half with Rodon. Out to the right side there to Schmidt, the right back. First time ball down the line to Nyonto. Being tracked by Moon. Works it back to Schmidt. Then lifts it into the box for James. Can't quite get it under control. Morris deals with it. With a left-footed clearance. It's got a bit of height on it, but straight out of play. It's a throw in midway side the Harrogate half for Leeds on that far side. Throw in will be taken by Isaac Schmidt. Taking his time as Leeds have got just the one goal to protect. Gets it back from the throw in. Schmidt tackled by Duke McKenna. Dooley down the line to Follerin. Could there be a break on here for Harrogate? Follerin's touch is heavy, but he beats Gilavogi to it. But the touch to get it away from Gilavogi goes straight through to the goalkeeper of Carl Darlow. And it will be Leeds to start from the back. Just too many nervy touches, I think, from Harrogate throughout the game in key areas. Too many of those touches which just get away from them, which allow Leeds to win the ball back. And they're in their defensive third here, Leeds with Rodon. Back it goes into the 18-yard box to goalkeeper Carl Darlow, brought in last season for 400 grand from Newcastle. Gilavogi outside the 18-yard box goes to his left here to number 3, Junior Firpo, who represents the Dominican Republic at the international level. Started doing that and made his debut in March 2024. Used as a forward for the Dominican Republic, despite usually during his footballing career in Europe he's played as a fullback. Just one goal this season for Firpo. That was in the 2-2 draw away at Sunderland back in the start of October. Tanaka playing it forward to the edge of the box here to Joseph. Great turn. Keeps it away from Asari. Can he get a left-footed shot off? He does, but he doesn't quite connect. And he goes behind for a goal kick. Been a bit of a frustrating night for Mateo Joseph so far. He's made just 11 starts this season. All of them in the Championship. One in his last 6. And that was against Derby. We're going to get in a final change, and it's a change which Leeds supporters will be very happy to see. He's been injured since the beginning of October. Ilya Gruev subbed off after 20 minutes away at Norwich. He's missed the last 18 games out with a knee injury, and he's going to come on for the last couple of minutes here, and he will replace Willy Gnonto. So it's a really positive reintroduction to the squad for Leeds to bring back Ilya Gruev, who got 1 goal for them last season, and that was in the playoff semi-final second leg against Norwich. So it's going to be a goal kick here for Belshaw. 30 seconds of the 90 to play. It's a big kick forward. It's headed forward though for Ampadu. Gruev helps it on out wide towards Dan James, who will get there ahead of O'Connor. The touch is forced in wide, and he slows down the play, but he will run again at Burrell. And he'll get a cross into the box, headed away by O'Connor. Cleared by Morris, not very far though. Ampadu scoops it into the box towards Gruev. Loses out in the end to Moon. Throwing right next to the corner flag on that right-hand side for Leeds. We've hit the 90th minute. And we are going to get a total of 4 added on. So Harrogate are running out of time here rather quickly. It looks like they won't be reaching their first ever 4th round FA Cup tie. James. Inside to Gruev. The ball isn't great, but he wins it ahead of Morris. Edge of the box, he'll go for the cross in there, and it's cleared twice for Harrogate. And Ellis Taylor will chase this one down, but it will be dealt with by Ramazani and then hoofed away by Rodon. And it's a Harrogate throw-in on this near side where they want to take it quickly with Zico Asari, the former England under-16 international who came through at Fulham. Throws it to the goalkeeper who gets rid. It's a big ball forward, but it's a volley away though there by Schmidt to Burrell, who will go back to his goalkeeper once more. Who's going to have to send this long? They've got 3 minutes to go, Harrogate. And it's a header away by Rodon towards Burrell for Harrogate, who will see this behind for a throw-in, which has been taken quickly to their goalkeeper, Belshaw, who takes the touch and then clears it quickly. Down the Harrogate left, it'll be given chase to by Duke McKenna, but it'll be seen behind for a throw-in by Rodon. And like I say, it just doesn't quite look like it's going to materialise here in the end for Harrogate Town, despite a really resolute defensive performance. Just one lapse of concentration from Levi Sutton to leave his man unmarked has meant that Leeds got their goal through Ramazani. It looks like it could be the difference in this game. The throw in by Schmidt is cut out by Morris for Harrogate, and they go back to the halfway line to O'Connor, who turns away from James. Goes to his left here to Moon, then clips it down the left-hand side here for March. Headed away by Rodon. Kicked into the stands by Ampadu. Could this be a last throw at the dice here for Harrogate? They've got 2 minutes left to play. Warren Burrell will take over the throwing duty of trying to get it as far towards, to get it as close to the Leeds goal as possible. He goes short instead to Dooley. Inside it goes, and then back it goes, and then into the box it goes, and it's a ball which is an invitation for Carl Darlow to collect, and he'll catch it with ease, and it looks like Harrogate will fall to the third round hurdle for the second time in their history. Carl Darlow with the ball in his hands here. He's going to roll it to his left to Gilavogi. Now with the left back Firpo. Ball down the line here, and he finds the Ramazani, the man that is separating the two teams with his goal. He's running at O'Connor, sends him on the outside, and Ramazani goes down. Definitely no foul there. It's cleared away for Harrogate, and it looks like it might roll out for a throw. No, kept in by Firpo for now. Deflects off Asari. It's now with Tanaka. We've got a minute left of added on time. Ampadu with the ball, 30 yards out. Plays to his left to Firpo, edge of the area. On once more to Ramazani. Who's towards the corner flag here, just keeping it away from Asari. Ramazani still has it. Plays it back here towards Ampadu, but it's been cut out by Follering. What a poor ball that is. And could there be one last chance for Harrogate as it's Ellis Taylor chopped to the ground by Ampadu. And this is one last chance for Harrogate. What a shocking pass that was by the goal scorer Ramazani. Should have kept it where he was in the corner flag, but decided to try and go back to the halfway line. And Ellis Taylor just lifted it over Ampadu, and he was caught there as Ampadu was sliding in. And on this Harrogate right, the goalkeeper's up for it. It's going to be a delivery in from Duke McKenna. This will be the final action of the game. The number 9 crosses into the box. It's glanced away by Joseph. It'll drop straight to Gruev. They've got no goalkeeper here, Harrogate. It's Schmidt on the halfway line. Will he go for a shot? He'll cut inside and play it forward to Gruev. And then down the line for James. He will go towards the corner flag and he'll pull it back to Gruev in the box. Asari deals with it. And that will be that for full time. A lot closer than Daniel Farker would have wanted, but they have got over the hurdle of Harrogate Town in the first ever competitive meeting between the two teams. It was all Leeds in terms of possession, but Harrogate had little tiny spells of showing something, but that something wasn't quite enough for a goal. They had a penalty shout early on in the 12th minute of the game. Gilavogi bringing down March. I thought that was a really solid shout for a penalty. A tangle of legs in the box, but the referee didn't give it. They hit the post in the 39th minute through Matteo Joseph, Leeds United, which almost got them the opening goal. And into the second half, they hit the crossbar 10 minutes in through Manor Solomon, and then with half an hour to go. That's when the deadlock was broken. Manor Solomon, the man on loan from Tottenham, went down the left-hand side towards the byline, lifted the ball onto the 6-yard line, and it was headed away by Ramazani, who was left unmarked by Levi Sutton. And after that, Harrogate still pushed for a goal. They really did have this slight odd opportunity. They pushed forward every now and then. It really wasn't a bad performance from Harrogate. You know, you can tell by the 1-goal scoreline that they give it a good go. Like I say, going forward, they knocked on the door a couple of times, but just never quite had the composure and the quality to get the equalising goal. And here at Ellen Road, despite it being closer than they would have wanted it to, they still win. And it finishes here. Leeds United 1, Harrogate Town 0. In the first ever competitive Yorkshire derby between these two. It was pretty even in terms of the scoreline. Of course, Leeds had more possession. They had a lot more shots, but not many on target. I don't feel like Leeds United really tested the goalkeeper that much. Yes, they hit the post and they hit the crossbar as well, but just didn't quite drop for Harrogate at any point in the game, which is unfortunate. It would have been nice to have seen them maybe take that to extra time, but not to be for them in just their second ever third round game. And it was also ended in defeat again. They were beaten in 2022 by Luton, and now this time in 2025 by Leeds United. Great commentary, cheers, mate. Thank you very much. If you did enjoy, make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already. Not sure when the next commentary will be, but make sure you subscribe with notifications on so you know exactly when that next commentary will take place. But for tonight, that'll be the end of this live stream. And in the first ever competitive meeting between Leeds United and Harrogate Town, it is the home team that come out on top. They have reached the 4th round for a 3rd season in a row. Their focus will be promotion from the Championship. But an FA Cup run won't hurt, and for Harrogate, theirs comes to an end. It won't be a first ever 4th round tie for them this season. They'll have to try again next year, but here at Ellen Road, it finishes Leeds United 1, Harrogate Town 0.